Yesterday we were discussing about neural networks, right? So this is what what we were discussing, that neural network have a cost function which is non-convex in nature. But this non-convexity doesn't affect too much in terms of solution space because it is quite symmetric. Weight space as having a highest, very large symmetry factor, and local minima, if we able to find out, do good, right? So this is like what the overall idea was. Then I said that if I just map the same regression problem with in terms of neural network. So if you remember what we had done there, we were trying to maximize the log likelihood function. So in linear regression, the assumption what we had was like this was our line in linear regression, and for every x we were trying to predict the y, which is nothing but w transpose x, and we have taken it as a mean. Then we said that if it is a mean, then what is a Gaussian distribution? Assuming that there is a Gaussian distribution, there is some variance around it, right? And taking this probability for every point, we want to maximize it, and the parameter was w there. So same theory we will apply here as well. So the only thing that is different from in neural network than linear regression is there we had a linear models, and we could able to find out the analytical solution. Analytical solution in the terms like could have taken a gradient and put it equals to 0, and we directly get the value of a w, which was maximizing our likelihood function. This case is not with the neural networks because my function is non-convex. So for linear regression, the function was like this. In one shot, you could have come to this point. But in non-linear, for this convex function, for this neural network, the function is like this. So you cannot take a derivative and put it equals to 0 and then directly get to the solution. So you have to run a stochastic gradient descent. You just taking small steps and directly go to some local minima. If you start here, you come to here. If you start here, you just reach to this point, right? And if you start from here, you reach to this point. So initial location matters in neural network, like where you started, and depending upon where you started, you will reach to the local minima because you are applying a stochastic gradient descent method, right? So here we cannot do this analytical solution. We cannot put a gradient equals to 0. So once I have a cost function, I will calculate the gradient of this cost function and take small steps in opposite to the gradient descent to reach the minima. And when I should stop, when my gradient is 0, because this at this point, the gradient, the slope is 0, right? I will halt at here. So my stopping criteria is that a gradient should be 0. Right? Any question on this? So please stop me if you have any questions here. So now the same old formula applies, that I take my data set because I am fitting a function, and here I am just trying to find out a function for a regression. So let's say that was a point here again. There are some points here, right? And these points, I assume that there is some function. These points, there is some function, and these points lie on the function, and it will act as a mean, and there will be some variance because I have assumed a Gaussian here again. So I want to maximize this likelihood function, right? So this is my same old story. So this is my likelihood function. I have assumed a neural network. I have assumed a Gaussian distribution for every point. So this is my mean, right? Which is given by some function. But this function is not linear. I cannot say that it is a straight line here, right? This function is not linear. This function can be any curve. Non-linear function is this. So over this non-linear function, I have to take this. I will assume that this is my mean, and what is the variance around it? This is my variance. So then I will take the log and negative log of it, right? Because it is exponential, the probability that I have calculated is a normal distribution. So then exponent will cancel with the log, and I will get this, right? I will get this. And this is a this is a constant for a Gaussian distribution. Because it is a negative logarithmic function, it is a non-convex function, as I said, I want to minimize it. So I want to minimize it with respect to W. So my domain is W here, right? I want to minimize it with respect to W. So because these terms are constant, hence I can ignore it, and I can minimize this function, right? In terms of a W. Once I get the W, which is minimizing my function, it means I'm reaching some local minimum, right? I'm reaching some local minimum. Based on that value of W, which is given by local minimum, I then calculate my variance, right? Okay. So regression, we have already discussed that the same old example I'm taking. Let's say I have a neural network. It is having two layers, right? And one input layer. So my first input layer is nothing but it's a hidden layer. And the second layer is nothing but its output layer. And the first layer is an input layer. So I am saying this neural network is having a two layers. First, I am counting it as a hidden layer, and the second is as an output layer. And this layer always I say it's the input layer, right? So if I am doing regression, then the output, right? The output node, you don't apply any non-linearity here, and whatever comes in, right? Whatever comes in, I told you that the things that come in is AK, right? So then you don't apply nonlinearity and you just pass it through as it is. Then AK is equals to YK here, right? Because you're not applying nonlinearity. So AK is equals to YK. And once you take a derivative of AK with respect to error function, right? What is your error function? This is your error function. You take a derivative with respect to AK at the output layer. So so your YK is nothing but AK there at the output layer. If you take a derivative with respect to AK of this function, then what you will get? You will get this YK minus TK, where YK is nothing but AK. So it is nothing but AK minus TK, right? So you have done this so many times, so I don't want to go into the derivation details. But still here you can see very easily because you're taking a derivative with respect to AK. So this 2 will get down here and it will cancel this 2, right? All the summation terms which doesn't, so I'm doing it for only for one sample. So let's say I'm doing it for one sample, the sigma will not be there because n is for every sample. Then you just take a derivative with AK. So it is a chain rule. So AK minus TK multiply by 1.
Sir, you're not audible.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, sir,
Yes.
you're audible.
Actually, I'm taking class today from institute, so there may be some disturbances. Okay, anyway. So I hope till here, if there are any questions, please let me know. So, uh, were you with me on this slide, or like I have lost the connection before then?
At that line, sir.
Till here, did you hear?
Yes, sir.
Understood?
Sir, will there not be
Okay.
any summation on that, like after taking derivative?
No, we are doing stochastic gradient descent. So for every time, I will take a gradient with respect to one sample,
There dou
and I will
is
calculate.
dou ak.
What is that?
A dou of error function by dou ak. So what will happen to that
Mm-hmm.
y of x1 and w like this?
Which one you are talking about? Here?
Yes, uh, this one, sir, here only ak minus tn of whole square.
Hmm.
Then we take
What?
derivative with respect to ak.
Right. So here y is nothing but ak, right? So it is ak. So you are taking a
So
derivative with respect to ak. So you are taking a derivative with respect to ak. Fine. So I said
yes,
that we are taking a gradient with respect to only one sample. So there are n samples. So this sigma is not there, right? Because I am taking this sigma is for every sample, right? I am calculating. So this is the sum of all gradients, but I am taking a calculating gradient for only one sample. So because I am applying stochastic gradient descent, not batch gradient descent. So there is a difference between this. So if my error function is only for in respect to with one sample, right?
so here ak is equal to y of xk comma w. Is that what?
Here ak equals to
Y of xk,
y of
xk comma w.
no. It is y of xn comma w. So just to make it clear, so if you have like k class problem, k classification problem, so there will be k nodes at the output layer, right? As I told you in softmax function. So if there is a k classification problem, so there are k nodes. So I am seeing any one node here. So I am seeing only any one node out at the output layer. But this node for nth, if you just feed the nth sample to a neural network, it will be classified one of the k classes, right? So this k equals to 1, k equals to 2, k equals to 3, k equals to 4, right? So let's say there are 4 classes. So you feed the nth sample image, let's say nth image, and you're asking whether it is belongs to dog, cat, buffalo, or cheetah, right? So k is having k is of k value is 4 here. So there are k classes. So you are talking about what is the probability if I'm saying, so if it is a regression problem, right? So in that regression problem, and my function is a univariate function like this, right? So I'm feeding only x and I'm getting one y. So here my ak is nothing but it's there is only one node at the output layer. So it is like I'm feeding one x, there will be a hidden layer, and that hidden layer may be three nodes, right? There will be three nodes, and then these three nodes will contribute one final node at the output layer. So here my ak is equals to, there will be only one node, so there will k will be not much generalized. I am having only one node at the output. So what I am doing here in terms of magnitude function, this is my neural network right now, right? So I am using k subscript just to make it generalized when I use it for further k classes or k something, right? So right now, if you take it in terms of regression, this is the neural network here you can see. So you feed nth xn. So let's say there are so many x here, x1, x2, x3, right? x4, and this was a function. So if you feed xn here, what is your yn, right? So you feed your xn here, then this is your yn. you will be getting. And out, from where you are getting this yn? This yn is getting from this node, right? Or there is only one node at the output layer.
Okay, sir.
Fine. Anybody else having any question? Right? So we are just trying to generalize in terms of in terms of regression, right? Let's say just to understand this, right? Just to understand this. So then I say that when I take a derivative with respect to ak, it will be ak minus tk, right? If it is a binary classification problem, right? So this is for regression. You remember, this is for regression. I have explicitly written on this slide. This is for regression. So regression here, I assume that for my regression, my function is like this, right? My function is like this. So for every x, there will be some y, right? So if there is some x for every y, then how that y is far from my true value, right? If this is my data set and I'm squaring it. So this is the same what we have done in linear regression. But what if I'm doing classification? So let's say I have some bivariate data. So this is some data that belongs to dog, and this is some data that belongs to cat. I am interested in finding out what is the probability of this point belonging to dog, and right, so if it is belong to dog, it is 1, and what is the probability of this point belonging to dog? It is 0, right? So this is what I'm expecting. So I feed my x here to some hidden layer, then hidden layer going to feed the data to the output node, which is only one node at the output layer because it's a binary classification problem, right? It's a binary classification problem. And then I will just apply the sigmoid here. So here my ak will not be passed as it is, but ak will having some value that is equals to sigmoid of yk is equals to sigmoid of ak. Again, I should not use k here because there is only one node at the output layer, right? I hope this is making sense to you. Ashutosh, is it fine with you now?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So, okay, I should drop this k factor here now because there is only one node, right? So once I having only one node, it will give me some probability for belongingness to a person, one class 1, right? So this is we have already done there, right? So all those points which belongs to dog class will participate here because dog class is having t equals to 1, and all those points which belongs to cat class will contribute from this term because here t equals to 0, so it will go away. So we have done it so many times, right? So it is a log likelihood function. Sometimes it is known as cross entropy also. If you take a negative log and then minimize it, you will get this thing, right? And summation comes because you are just counting on every sample. If you take a gradient with one sample, right? So you just ignore this and you take a derivative with respect to what? You take a derivative with respect to A, right? So here why they have written N? Because there is no AK, right? Because there is only one node at the output layer. So they are distinguished that this A is generated because of the nth sample, right? This generated is from the nth sample, because there is only one node at the output layer. So if you feed the nth sample here, this nth sample will generate some AK, some A, right? This A, and just to distinguish that this A is generated by nth sample, they are written AN. So if you take a derivative with respect to the nth sample, then all the terms which are not having nth sample will go to 0. So only one summation will come into the picture. Only one terms from this summation come to the picture, which is for the nth term. When you take a derivative of this error function with the nth term, you will find it out. That is nothing, but it is the difference between your actual output and here the probability which is coming from this node, right? So here in general, you see that in regression also, there was a difference between your actual output and your prediction. Here also, there is a difference between actual output and the probability which you are giving in binary classification. Any questions with anybody? I can happily clarify that if you have any. Please let me know. Are you with me, guys? Can you write yes or no? Very good.
Sir, here n is 1 and 2. That's it, right?
What n? This
Binary
n?
classification. And
Which n you are talking about?
there's somewhere summation of n is equal to 1.
Uh-huh.
Like the error function n is equal to 1 to n is written like that. N is
Mm-hmm.
equal. So
Right.
here only two values for n will exist.
Can anybody want to answer this question what Ashutosh is asking? I just want to know
Yes.
like whether you have this kind of questions. Do you have these kind of questions, guys? Like
So here the
Ashutosh,
training has a 0 and 1, the Tn. Okay.
here Ashutosh is asking n is equal to either 0 or 1. How many have this question? Akash Tiwari, do you have this question? Are you taking lunch right now, Akash? Okay, fine. Okay, I think Ashutosh, you are a bit confused. You should see the lectures before what I have given. So, n is a point. There is a data set. Data set is having n samples. I am talking about nth sample. That nth sample is generating some error. That's what I am talking about. I am taking the derivative with respect to when I'm taking a derivative. I am talking about the nth sample, right?
So here T has 0 and 1, only 0 and 1, no other value.
Which one? Can you repeat your question? Which?
Tn, every value of T has either 0 or 1 in training set.
Right, exactly. Because it's a data set, right? So I have a data set that is a form of x comma t, right? So either what I will do, I will feed an image, and that image can be belongs to dog or a cat. So for dog, I put t equals to 0, t equals to 1, and for a cat, I set t equals to 0. So for every x, there will be t associated. If it is a dog, then t equals to 1. If it is a cat, then t equals to 0, right?
Yes, sir. Understood.
Fine. Okay. Okay. Please see the lectures, right? Please see the previous lectures. Okay. Then if you do it, then there is a difference. Okay. Now I want you to see this very clearly in a generalization form. So if you have a regression, then you had formed a likelihood function like this, right? This was your likelihood function if you have a regression problem, right? Assuming that you're at the regression, the curve is a mean and there is a distribution, Gaussian distribution around that mean. So if that is the assumption, then this is a likelihood function for the regression problem, right? Or any problem. Then I said that this is for binary classification, this is a likelihood function, right? So you are taking the probability for one point and you are multiplying all those probabilities. And when you multiply all those probabilities, this is your likelihood function for binary classification. Now I ask you, what is the probability if there is a k separate binary classification problem? So let's understand what is k separate binary classification problem. So I have given you an image. In that image, there is object 1, object 2, object 3, right? There is 3 objects. So, or let's say 4 objects are there. There are 4 objects. So I want to know like whether in the image all four objects are present or not. So if I feed this image, let's say all four objects are present, then this first node is classifying object 1, this second node is classifying object 2, this third node is classifying object 3, and this node is classifying object 4. When you feed a node through a neural network, right? So when you feed this image through a neural network, if all objects are present, then everybody say 1, 1, 1, right? If you feed an image, where only 3 objects are present, then the corresponding node will be 0, which object is not present, other rest 3 will be 1, 1, 1. If only one object is present, right, and let's say that object is a third object, then this will say 0 probability, it say 1 probability, and it say 0 probability, right? So I am saying case separate binary classifications. Problem is understood or not? Can you clearly say yes? Is problem understood to you? Right, very good, very nice. If this is the case, now I'm just trying to, I'm encouraging you to think in a direction when you try to form a cost function. So let's say if this is the case, you want to form a cost function. So what you will do, you just see the probability like this, right? So then what will be having your target variable? As in binary classification, the target variable either it was 1 or 0. So it was a scalar quantity. But here my target variable will be a vector, right? It will be a vector. And if all objects are present there, right? If all objects are present there, then I say 1, 1, 1, 1, right? And if two objects are present, I say 1, 0, 1, 0 like this, right? So this is my t, which is a vector. So I just make it some bold because it's a bold vector, right? Then I need to find out what is my probability for this sample, right? So if my probability so let's say I'm calculating the probability for this t, where two objects are present, right? So I take a multiply for all 4 classes, right? Because their maximum classes can be 4. So I take the multiple of 4. I see whether my first object is present or not, right? And because it is a binary classification problem, so either first object will be there or not will be there. If so here first object is there, right? So this term will participate when k equals to 1, right? Then I take the second term for k equals to 2. Because k equals to 2, 0 is available. So this term will participate. Second term will participate. For k equals to 3, my first term will participate. And for k equals to 4, my second term will participate. So then the product will be first term, second term, first term, second term. For this t, all the first terms will be present and all second terms will not be present. For this kind of t, all second terms will be present, right? And this is only for one sample. This is only for one sample. So I'm talking about only one sample right now. So if I have n samples, then my summation will go first over all classes and then over all samples, right? Because it is a product, right? You will first you are calculating. So here you just see this. So here, this is this term. This term is a probability for one sample, right? Then I say you calculate the probability for every sample. So if there are n samples, you take the product over all these probabilities, right? So it means you take the product over all these probabilities. When you take a log of this expression, it will get reduced to this expression. So this is your negative log likelihood function. Is this clear to you guys? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Very good. Very nice. Okay. So now this is my, and if you have this idea, you can form any cost function for a neural network. It's very generalized, right? Now I come to the different classification problem. It is a multi-class classification problem. What multi-class classification says that for a given image, I need to say there could be 4 possible objects: dog, buffalo, cat, or cheetah. So if I feed my image to this neural network, I will say that one of the class is present out of 4. So 3 will be 0, any 3 will be 0, and one of them which is present will give probability 1, right? So it will be 1, 0, 0, 0, respect to what object is present in that, right? So it is one hot vector encoding. So T is a vector here, which is nothing but one hot vector, and 1 is present with respect to what object is present, right? And yesterday I told you that this case is a case where we need to apply softmax, right? And it will give you a distribution over all classes, right? So the distribution will be somewhere like this. So it says that I'm sorry that I have run this as a continuous. So the distribution is like this, right? Because it's a discrete distribution. So out of all 4 probability, whichever is high, you just say that this given class belongs to this given image belongs to this class, right? Because I told you yesterday, if you see the video lecture, that softmax will create a distribution, right, over the classes. Is this clear to you guys? Can you write quickly yes or no so that I can go over it? Participate in this, right? So I get to know how many of you are available. Fine, very nice. Very nice. Okay. So now you just created, now you know how to create these distributions. What is yk? Then you just feed this yk into the error function, right? What is that error function? This was your error function. So you just feed this yk here and then calculate the derivatives, right? Then calculate the derivatives corresponding to what you are doing. You feed the yk here, right? For binary classification, you feed the yk here for this k separate binary classification, and you feed yk here. Yk is ak in this case of software and this softmax, right? So finally, now you know like what is your how to calculate a yks and how to calculate the error function using those yks, and then apply a stochastic gradient descent, which we have discussed so many times in logistic regression and before than that also, right? So let's this is all theoretically where I have said that we will calculate a gradient, right? But the calculating gradient is not an easy problem here, right? It is not like that I have a function x square plus y square, and somebody asks me what is the gradient. So what you will do, this is your function f, so which is like a function variable. There are 2 variables x and y. So calculating a gradient is nothing but first you calculate the derivative with respect to x, right? And then calculating a derivative with respect to y, right? With respect to y, and you put it into a vector form, right? So this vector is nothing but it's a gradient. So here this is 2x and this is 2y, right? So there is the gradient of this cost function of x square y square at xy is 2x 2y. This is here. But here you see that there is a neural network which is having some hidden layer, then other hidden layer, then third hidden layer, and likewise last output layer, and every layer is having some W's, right? There are so many W's, and for every W you need to take a derivative with respect to error function. So it is a complicated problem, right? So this is your error function somewhere here setting, and you need to take a derivative of this error function with respect to every W. in this layer, in this layer, in this layer, and then you will get a long gradient vector, right? If there are 100 W, then the dimension of this gradient vector will be 100 by 1, right? So this is a complicated problem. How to do that? So what they have done, they just found out that we can calculate a gradient using some algorithm, right? Because it's a complicated problem, we need to run some algorithm to calculate this gradient. That algorithm is known as back propagation algorithm, right? So just to be very clear in your head that back propagation is calculating a derivative of an error with respect to the parameters. Are you clear on this point? Are you clear on this point? You can type your opinion. Yeah. So you should be very clear in your head that this back propagation is algorithm which is used to calculate the derivative of a error function with respect to parameters. Very nice. So parameters as in AIs. So somebody is asking like parameter as in AI. Parameter or parameter? I am not talking about W1, W2, W3, W4, right? And with these W's, I was calculating A, and with those A's, I am calculating some Z's, and with those Z's, I was calculating some YK, and with these YK's, I was calculating some errors, right? So it is all chain rule. It's a cascading problem, things. With W, I will calculate A with Z, Z with Y, and it will be there. You will see clearly when I show you an example, right? Okay, so once again, before diving into this like calculations, I want you to just recall this structure. So I have an input layer, I have some hidden layer, right? And I have some output layer. These are my W's, right? And the W will be written as like this, W, J, I, right? So I is here at the input side, J is here at the output side, right? This will calculate X transpose W will calculate AJ. So this AJ is going inside, right? When you apply the nonlinearity over AJ, you will get ZJ, right? That's ZJ. And for nonlinearity, you are applying H. You are using, for notation, you are using H function. H is general here. It may be sigmoid or tan H. So you get ZJ, and again this same story apply. So again this is some W. So this W is for first layer. This W is for second layer, right? Then it will come in superscript. And again, this will be some K, J, right? So input is from the J node and it is going to some K node. Then you are calculating here AK, right? You are calculating some AK. Then you apply some nonlinearity here. That is again shown by some H function. And this nonlinearity will give you some ZK. But because it is the output layer, I am saying it is as a YK, right? Because at output layer, I am using YK instead of ZK, right? Because it's the output layer. Is this terms clear to you? Notations are clear to you, so that I can go further without going again and again to go for clarification about notations. Very nice. Very good. Very good. Very nice. So if all this is clear in your head, now let's see. I want to calculate the error function. So ignore this n always, right? So n means I am calculating the derivative of an error function, and that error function is because of nth sample. So you can see, you can take your data set as having only one sample, and because of that one sample, you are getting an error. So you are calculating a derivative of an error with respect to parameters. So you can ignore n for right now because n means nth sample. So how to calculate a derivative of error with respect to any Wji, right? So it means you apply a chain rule. You just say that error with respect to Aj and then Aj with respect to Wji. So if you just see it visually somewhere here, so it is your error, right? Which is coming backward. So this is your error function. So you are calculating error with respect to aj, right? So this aj, let's say error is sitting somewhere here. So you are calculating error with respect to aj, and then you are calculating aj with w. So this, there is some node, right, which is coming from I. This node is connected with this layer, this node j, right, with some wji, right? So it is connected with some weight parameter wji, right? So you are calculating a derivative of error with respect to this weight, right? So if I am at this layer, second layer, right? So it means you are calculating a error with respect to this wkg, right here, and then you are calculating the error with this wji. So this is in general, you have taken how to calculate an error with respect to wji, and if it is you are just calculating it in terms of a chain rule. In general, you can write any aj, derivative of error with aj with delta j, right? So it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Before closing, it doesn't matter whether you are at this layer, right, or you are somewhere here at this layer, and you calculate the derivative with respect to this a, right? So this is ai, right? This is aj. So it is saying if you are calculating a derivative with respect to any a, right, you just say that it is a delta. If you are calculating a derivative with respect to aj, it is delta j, right? If you are calculating a derivative with respect to ai, right, here it is ai, then it is delta I, right? So it means you are just measuring how much error, what is the derivative of error with respect to any a, right? That's, you are just notation wise, you are seeing it with the delta, right? And rest things are same. Can anybody tell me why this aj derivative with wji is zi? They can unmute and tell me why this is a z with w zi is equals to zi. So if you see, just to see this thing, you are at the hidden layer, right? So this is a hidden layer. The output of the hidden layer is nothing but the z's, right? So it is z1, z2, z3, right? The output of hidden layer is represented by z3. Then all are multiplied with some w's, right? All are multiplied with some w's, and they will give you the a. It will give you some a. So let's say it is aj. If it is a jth node, so it is aj, right? And aj will be calculated by what? Aj will be calculated like this: z1 multiply w1 wj1 plus z2 multiply wj2 plus z3 multiply wj3. If you take the derivative of this aj with respect to any zi, right? Let's say z1, you will get this term, right? Get this term z1. I hope this is very clear. This should be very clear to you. I'm just taking a derivative of a summation. Yes or no? Okay, so very nice. So I just insist you to see these two lectures again before my next lecture on Monday. You go through this chapter 5 of Christopher Bishop, PRML, and I will continue from here onwards. It is mandatory to you to clear this concept in your head like a water. It should be crystal clear. Then you can say that you can proceed into this field. Okay. Any questions before I stop?
Sir, can you share the slides?
Slides are not very informative for my what I have constructed. I feel that I can share it, but I insist still you to read the this chapter.
Yes, sir. Just we have an overview of the topics. What are the topics we have to study? For this purpose, we will be using slides.
Okay, fine. I will share it. Any other question? Okay then. Please drop your attendance and you can leave.